Horsetails is proudly brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. South Carolina, a true leader in the equine industry. Folks, on this morning's show, I want to introduce you to another lowcountry legend. Already on this show, we covered Mr. Ed Ravenel and Mr. D.P. Lowther, which is very instrumental, along with a lot of other people, of getting the Marsh Tackies recognized as a state horse and really preserving them. But special treat this morning, good friend of mine, Lee McKenzie. Lee is not only a horseman, but a houndsman. And as I age and people like Lee's age, I just feel like, folks, that we're just missing a little bit of legends in the past. But this morning, you're going to really enjoy some tailgate talk on Lee McKenzie as he journeys us through a lot of good years in the low country of the Marsh Tackies and many a hound that he's traded on that tailgate. And folks, and for the rest of the show, the style I have of hunting that really made me the PD Cowboy is what I learned from the Lee McKenzies of the world, and there's a lot of styles, because once in this part of the country, when I first started looking for a horse to hunt off of, they said, "Mister, you can shoot off this horse one time." But up here in the PD, when I started hunting off horseback, it turned a lot of heads, and in the low country, that's what they did. But up here, taking the dogs and horses out and hunting deer and feral hogs on horseback was a little new to some of these folks up here. So you're going to journey along with me, folks, to a lot of the scenes that helped mold me into the PD Cowboy. All my life, I've been obsessed with horses. I was curious and wanted to see other people's love for their horses and their stories. I'm David Grant, the PD Cowboy, and along with some incredible horse owners, I want to share the story of horses and the people that have a passion for them. Horsetails is proudly brought to you by Warren Coker Pecans, now buying for the fall. Anderson Brothers Bank, the only choice for your banking needs. South Florence Feed and Seed, price, quality, and service. They have all three, and featuring Nutrina Feeds. South Carolina Horsemen's Council, the voice of the horse in South Carolina.
Take a moment to think about the food you buy and eat. Is it fresh? I mean really fresh. Or is it shipped from a grower hundreds or even thousands of miles away? Well, here in South Carolina, we celebrate fresh, locally grown food and unforgettable meals with family and friends. They're time-honored traditions that go back generations. Season after season, our state's farmers help make those meals memorable with delicious produce like sweet corn, butter beans, and cucumbers that taste just perfect. Agriculture has always been at the heart of who we are. Just trace its roots and you'll see that the farmers who work to bring the freshest, best tasting food to your table, they aren't so different from you or me. So, choose food that's rooted right here. Choose certified SC grown. It's a matter of taste.
You are the heart of our community.
You work hard every day, but sometimes money gets tight.
You still have dreams and may need a personal loan to help make them come true.
Anderson Brothers Bank, where we're locally owned and care more about you than your credit score.
We understand your dreams are unique and want to help you find the best way to realize them.
The loan process at Anderson Brothers Bank is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Anderson Brothers Bank. We know behind every personal loan is a person.
Folks, joining me now is Lee McKenzie, a low country legend and a mentor to the PD Cowboy. Folks, I always had a little joke. I said that when I first started hog hunting, I couldn't catch a cold with my dogs. And it took meeting Lee McKenzie and buying some really good dogs, and I got my start as a hog hunter. We were coming up the driveway, and I told the guys with me that, boys, up and down this driveway, literally thousands of dogs and hundreds of horses have made its way out and about across the Southeast, sold and traded by Lee McKenzie. Lee, what a pleasure to be here. I shared with you that I had a show that got canceled, and it was on my heart to come down here and tell the folks how I got my start with Marsh Tacky's, and I got my start with you.
That's right.
And I don't remember the first time coming down here. You remember the first time I come down here?
Well, I think you came and bought a couple hog dogs from me the first time I met you. We went hunting with a friend of ours, and then me and you started talking, and I had a dog or something that you were interested in, and then later on you came up and picked up a couple dogs from me.
Yeah, Ring and Roof was some good ones.
That was the one. So I think that was the first deal.
Well, like I say, on this tailgate, many a dog and horse have been bought and sold and traded, hadn't they?
Yeah, it's been some stories told and some trading done.
I can remember hunting with some guys, and they had some pretty good dogs, and I kept hearing the name Lee McKenzie. I said, I gotta find this Lee McKenzie guy, and I finally did. But one story, I know you told it to me hundreds of times, and folks, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna mention the Blue Dogs and the Robert Cruz here. That's legendary. So you tell those folks a little bit about Robert Cruz and those Blue Dogs and how you ended up getting some of them.
Well, Robert was one of the hardest hunters and as good a horseman that ever hit this country. And I went to his house one time, and his grandson told me that he was going to get rid of a dog, and it was a beautiful Catahoula. And when I went back inside his house, he was sick at the time, I asked him about the dog, and he said no. He said, you don't want that dog, because said that dog's no good. He said, but I got a litter of puppies out there. He said, when they get old enough, he said, you come pick you out 2 of them. And I picked out 2 named Smokey and Slate. And that's how I got started with the Cruz line of Catahoula dogs, and they were excellent hog dogs, and you know, bred them for a long time, and that's how I, got started with those dogs.
Tell the folks, really, how did you kind of get started with the Marsh Tacky? Through some of the Ravenel line, or?
Well, in the start, when I was about 7 years old, we lived at a farm called Essex Farm, and my daddy had a good friend named Archie Duncan, and he had Marsh Tackies, and he gave my daddy a old dun Marsh Tacky named Bob, and Mr. Archie used to come get me and my brothers because we were pretty small, and he'd let us ride them horses with old McClellan saddles when they were like 1.5 years old, because we didn't weigh enough to make any difference, and we'd follow, the horses, just learning them to cross ditches and stuff like that, and that's kind of the way I got my start with them. But I always, later on, and I'll always bought a lot of Marsh Tacky horses from Mr. Eddie Ravenel, and anytime he had any for sale, he'd mostly call me and my brother Bobby before he called anybody else, because most of the time we usually bought them, and that's how I tie in with the Ravenels, because they've been a big part of the Marsh Tackies down here in this part of the lowcountry.
What's really intriguing, we went back to your dog lot and your horse lot, which I could just stay back there for hours just talking to you. The horse's name of Bill Gunner come up.
Right.
And Mr. Ed Ravenel shared that story with us. So you've actually got a descendant being breeding back to some of his line, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I got a mare bred to him, and then I got a mare that was the last horse to come off of the Fusky Island, a mare, Miss Roan, that me and a friend of mine own together, and we're gonna breed her to Shrimp Boy, which he is straight off of Bill Gunner, and a little black mare that I had my sons learn to ride on years ago. So it's like a kind of a different cross altogether that we planning on doing some breeding.
Which, that cross and that line is very instrumental according to Jeanette Barrington. Is that right? Is that what she told you?
Yeah, Jeanette told us that was would be very good cross, that then you could take those horses and cross on any of the other bloodlines and kind of make out crosses off of those horses. Well, I like them because they are good horses. I mean, they're good size. They don't seem to me be as rough as the average kind of horse, and they just can go through mud better. And I don't know, they just got a little something about them that's hard to put your finger on. But if you ever ride one, you kind of fall in love with them. You know, it's kind of a, I don't know, it's kind of a little connection you get with them, and they are very special horses.
Well, I tell you, I've got people that's never, we've been privileged to hunt with some dogs we've had and with these tackies in these woods in the low country and everything. And I tell people, it's kind of spiritual.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
To get out there and to ride. And I've carried some really good horsemen with me, Lee. And I had one that's well respected in the country, and you know what, and I don't know if you heard this, but he coined the phrase about the Marsh Tacky. You know what he called them?
What?
The Army Jeep of horses.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, they were important during the wars and all in the South and all, so they did play a big role in making this country what it is. You know, the South anyway. You had things couldn't look better as far as the CMTA board is concerned. We got a lot of young people on there that's really energetic and wanting to do things for the horses, and you know, some older people there that has been with them for a long time, and it means a lot to them to see the association go forward in a positive way.
Well, we shared a lot of good stories here and everything. You said a young lady you met said wants to write some good stories about it. You need to do that, Lee.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
Well,
listen. What a privilege.
Okay.
Thank you, Lee.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
Horse Tales is proudly brought to you by Morrell Tire, working tirelessly for all your automotive needs. South Florence Feed and Seed, proudly offering Tribune Equine Nutrition. Southern States, your local farm supply store. Equestrian Images, exceptional equine photography and video services.
Running on bald tires? Is your air conditioning struggling? Checked your brakes recently? Come see Morrell Tire Service for all your auto service needs. Featuring a complete line of Michelin tires. From trucks to horse trailers and sports cars to first cars, Michelin is safe when new and safe when worn. Stop in and see why we are your trusted Michelin dealer and repair specialists. Morrell Tire, Latta, South Carolina.
Folks, I just hope you really realize what you heard on that tailgate. I dare say 50, 60 years of low country history, Marsh Tacky. Lee McKenzie has got a photographic memory. When we discovered what we had with the Marsh Tackies, yes, the Ravenels and the Lowthers really had the big herds, but Lee McKenzie was the glue that put it all together. He really remembered horses when he was a child, and when Jeanette Behringer come down, he just kind of put it all together. And once I got to know Lee, bought some dogs from him, bought some horses from him, because I will mention this, folks, and I think I said it on the tailgate. I couldn't catch a cold with the dogs I had when I first started, but I went down, met with Lee, did some horse trading and dog trading, and he always knew, folks, when I left there, I always felt very satisfied with the deal that was shook. And that's what made Lee, not only does he know dogs and horses, but he was a gentleman in the way he traded. And there's a many old boy like me that owe a lot where they got far as being an outdoorsman and a houndsman and a horseman for the kind of man that Lee McKenzie is. He treats you the way he wants to be treated. So folks, right along here in a few minutes, you're going to see some scenes to help mold me into what I am today. If that's good, the PD Cowboy. All right, folks, we're going to a bay, and we have rode hard, and these dogs have done a good job. Got the catch jaws going to them. They don't know what to expect, folks. This is why I hog hunt. This is as exciting as I've ever seen. Going in here, we got dogs cut and hurt, but we're going in here. We don't know what we're going to expect, folks. This has been a heck of a ride, and we got the dogs in here. Boy, they've done a good job. Oh, getting close, folks. Getting close. It might be a good hog, folks. We don't know. Like I say, this is when we hog hunt. We're getting close, and we think it's a bad hog. We don't know. And well, you see what we're going through here. This is what makes it so exciting with the Marsh Tacky, Team Marsh Tackies. Hot dog, come on, get in here. That's a good hog, I believe, folks. We're back to the bay. We'll get in here. We got some. Well, Eddie, we hear the hog. Still don't know what he is. We got him squealing. We're getting around here. We're getting ready to see, folks. Here it is. What a job. Oh, he's backed up in a blowdown. Folks, this is like the government woods. Oh, man, look at here, folks. Oh, gosh, dog. Man, oh, gee whiz, folks. Look at here. Look at here, folks. Oh, man, these dogs have done great. Oh, man, look at here. Oh, good. Let's go to the house. That was a good, now I'm telling you now.
Look at that dog. Which one? I tell you, cut up and he still stop going. Get him, Rose, get him.
We might as well drag her out. I don't care about cleaning, but that's good eating, John boy. We get her.
I meant to tell you, I asked Dad about, what I talked about. And he's not actually processing them, but he's got that walk-in cooler. And
that's one reason I hog hunt on Marsh Tackies, and I hear the dog struck that hog in the open woods and running the ground. Great work by the horse, great dog work, good fellowship. Folks, Team Marsh Tacky PD Cowboys, getting it done in the swamps of the great PD River. Folks, hoss hogging is a rough game for rough folks. On this next little segment, you have to do what it takes. My buddies was off on another hog, my old Bulldog Cross Ace hit this hog by himself, so I went in there by myself, and as you can see, I run in there, caught that hog right by myself, got it caught, and here comes Eric King. But folks, back in the day, it's illegal now to transport hog, but back in the day, I was a little bit younger, but we'd catch them and tie them up, and that was sporty. But enjoy this scene, folks. Folks, that was Ace. He hit a hog, a good hog. He hit him and couldn't hold him. Come on, folks. Horsetails is proudly brought to you by Equine Dynamics. See Mike Stein for all your farrier needs, proudly serving North and South Carolina. Warren Coker Hay, simply the best coastal Bermuda hay in the Southeast. Nationwide, when a cowboy rides, he rides with Nationwide on his side. The South Carolina Department of Agriculture, promoting and nurturing agriculture in the great state of South Carolina.
Take a moment to think about the food you buy and eat. Is it fresh? I mean really fresh. Or is it shipped from a grower hundreds or even thousands of miles away? Well, here in South Carolina, we celebrate fresh, locally grown food and unforgettable meals with family and friends. So, choose food that's rooted right here. Choose certified SC grown. It's a matter of taste.
Folks, on the lines of Lee McKenzie, I was been blessed that I have raised and a lot of dogs and a lot of Marsh Tackies too, and have been fortunate enough to be able to sell a few. On this particular hunt, a young friend of mine from the upstate, Noel Linder, bought a little horse from me called Southern Gambler. And on this hunt, folks, it was no gamble. The old PD Cowboy took him on a good one. You'll see some good sporty riding, us catching the hog, which is kind of rare right in the middle of the road. And the action gets really pretty good but for the sake of a good, clean audience, we cut it when it really got good. All right, folks, we're going to a bay. Not sure exactly where it is. We got Noel Linder with me on Oh yeah. All right, got him squealing, folks. Oh, got him caught in the middle of the road. Look at here, folks. Look at here, look at here, look at here. Got a good hog. Got a good hog. Look at this, folks. Look at this. That's a good hog. All right, be tied up. This could be, God almighty, what a hog. All right, so. I need some help. I need some help. Come on now. Flip him over. Flip him over. Yeah, there you go. Folks, they say old Marsh Tackies know how to wear their feet and they good in the swamps. And this action you see coming up, proof in the pudding. Film it, Wiley. Film it, Wiley. I got it. I got the horse. Y'all get in there. Get in there, y'all. You got a knife? Here you go, Shug. I got you, horsey. I got you, horsey. I love holding horses. You getting it, Wiley? You didn't get that. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. All the women in my life causing me problems. That was a good run. That was a fantastic run. All right. Folks, to be redundant, hoss hogging, rough game, rough folks. Literally, I've caught probably hundreds of hogs, folks, and like I said, back in the day, we'd catch them live, bring them out, and feed them out. I had some pretty close calls, but never any major problems. Like I say, I've caught them and tied them up by myself. But folks, the river was in full freshet, had all the hogs pushed up on the hill, and we were having a good day. Had some young guys with me, hadn't been very much. We struck a hog, and I knew he was a good one by the sound of the dog. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And folks, sometimes you heard it, sometimes you out-punch your coverage. Well, me and Simpson, we got in there, and as you can see, I run in that briar and I said, oh, poo-poo. I'd outrun my coverage. And you see, I caught the hog and posted him. And folks, I don't know what happened. Just that fast, that hog spun on me, charged me, knocked me down, and thank goodness, I think it was Eric King, Greg Grochowski, and Lee Hammer had my back. But that old pig got my boot, but now he's Porky Pig. That's a good hog. They ain't got him. Keep going. Another good one, come on! Another good one! Get him, kill him! Kill him, he's getting me! Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! Folks, I know you enjoyed today's show. on the tailgate with the infamous Lee McKenzie, and you ended up with the want-to-be infamous PD Cowboy. Folks, it's spiritual to be out on our Marsh Tackies with our PD game dogs, just enjoying what the good Lord throws at us. And folks, until next week, no matter what gets thrown at you, you know you got the Lord on your side. So keep your reins low and your hands quiet, and God has blessed this great country of ours.